'Tis I. Hey everyone, glad to see you back, glad to see you looking fresh. Like, I'm sure a lot of you, we were very surprised about the quality of the last Predator prequel, sequel, yeah, I guess it's a prequel, Prey, that came out on Hulu last week. And even though I didn't make an official Saw score video, if you want to know my score, I give it an 8 out of 10, which is a great movie. Probably appear at the best of the year list at the end of the year, which is very good to see a Predator movie be that level of quality again, because the past however many since the original have not even been able to come close to that for me. Immediately, that's fantastic to even see. When talking about Prey, it opens up the discussion of, should there be a Prey 2? Should there be another Predator prequel? Prey proves something to me that I'm sure a lot of people have noticed over the years. The Predator works best when given a situation that he doesn't necessarily belong in, right? Predator, the original, is a fantastic movie, a very simple story about a bunch of big tough dudes going into the jungle and realizing they're no longer the apex predator. And not even all the ammo and guns in the world can take out a predator. You have to outsmart him, you have to be better. So then you go to a sequel. You put the Predator in a city. Not a terrible idea, but not very well executed. After that, we got Predators, which, again, isn't an awful idea, but they just brought it back to the jungle. So they took the right idea of bringing it back to basics, but they went kind of the wrong way with it. Having it be on the Predator planet is a neat concept, but again, not very well executed. Of course, between those, there's the Alien versus Predator movies, which, fun concept, not very well executed. Put Predator in this weird pyramid thing, and then I don't even really remember the second one all that well, and then of course, the one we got a few years ago, The Predator, which put him in the modern day, in just small town city situation. I like the Predator stuff in that movie, but the rest of that movie was not good. So that brings us to Prey, the newest and best of the Predator sequels. Prey takes the idea of what the original Predator has. You have a place, you have a group of people, and then you put this Predator in the mix and let them fight it. Where the original had a bunch of big tough dudes in a jungle that they didn't really know the layout to, this one does a lot of interesting things of taking a less immediately upfront strong group of people because of their lack of weaponry and gives them different advantages, like knowing the layout of the land, knowing how to track and hunt better. Because big tough dudes in Predator, while being big and strong, I'm sure didn't meet much resistance in terms of people that are able to take out a group of elite soldiers like that. Whereas you give a group of Native American people, they're going to have many things that know how to kill them. Like bears, for instance. That opens the idea of put the Predator in any time period. I, like a lot of people, heard the concept of Prey and immediately were like, why? Why are we doing back in time? Could work, could not work. Seems silly. It seems like it'd be harder for any other type of people to be able to kill a predator than modern time technology. But of course, then you also have to think, maybe the predators also don't have the extra 300, 400 years of technology that they would in the 80s version. So that brings us to a more stripped down predator still with a lot of cool technology, but not as many tools in his tool belt that the 1981 was. So we get a very different Predator with a very different set of skills, and we have a very good movie out of it. My idea, and what Prey taught me, and I hope teaches the studio making these, teaches, Disney, I guess now, 20th Century Studios, that just put the Predator in somewhere else, right? We don't need to see... I loved her in this movie. I loved Amber Midthunder. I forget his first name. He was great as well. The story seems complete and fulfilled. We don't need to touch these characters again. We don't need to touch the 80s characters again. We really haven't. Just put them somewhere else in history. I've heard, smatterings of people on the internet have this same kind of idea of, like, what if we just put the Predator in samurai period Japan? And we have samurai versus a Predator. That sounds really fun. We put him, I've heard American Civil War. That's another really good one. Any time period that there's a very distinct culture, a very distinct people, have them fight a predator. Obviously, keep the cultural representation alive here. Let different types of people represent their different histories And I would love to see them just fight a predator. How would their people fight a predator? How on earth would they be able to work around their technology at the time? And then we also get to see more of kind of the subtle storytelling and backstory of how the predators work. Because that's some of the most interesting parts of the first movie and this one, is how slyly, subtly, it like drops little hints about their culture and their technologies and how they operate. So that's the big idea I'm discussing here, is where do we go next from here? What different people, what different place do we put a predator? Because unlike a lot of iconic franchises, this one isn't really tied to a specific character. It's more specifically tied to a creature. But the best thing about it is those creatures are killed off, and we can get a new one every time. So we get different characteristics and different personalities based on all of those. Because obviously, yeah, if a xenomorph is killed in an Alien movie, we still want to see Ellen Ripley come back and have that connection there. The only other franchise I could think of that's kind of like that is Friday the 13th, but that one, it has a couple of returning characters. It has the Tommy Jarvis character, so this is the only one I can truly think of that works the best. The two best working movies are very separated from each other. If Predator didn't exist, Prey could exist on its own. You know, if Prey doesn't exist, Predator obviously could work on its own, as we've known for a good while now. So, I want the next Predator-Prey film, it's good luck coming up with another clever title, to be just its own thing. To be its own movie. Just smattering different predators all over the place that's fine. That's great. Obviously, if you do too many of them, we're running the idea of, like, how on earth would we not know about them going into modern times, but whatever. If that's the only problem with continuity, I guess, then I'm totally fine with it. Absolutely want to see more Predator movies now. I used to not even think that way at all. I used to be like, just let it sit for a while, maybe bring it back somewhere else, but now I'm definitely on board to get more of them. And let me know where you would put a Predator, what time period, what culture would you want to see take on a Predator next. And as always, like this if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you at some point.